It's Friday, and you know what that means? WTF, welcome to Friday, or what the, take your pick, however your week has gone. I'm Cheryl Pankers, host of Parenting Teens Advice Redefined, and this is the spin-off series, Welcome to Friday. I just want to say first, thank you for putting me in your ears, putting me on your YouTube. I really appreciate your time. I know it's valuable, and I know you probably have 1,000 other things to do. So thank you. My last few posts and podcast episodes on WTF has been about transitioning our kids from grade 8 to grade 9, getting into high school, and the panic and the process. And I know that if your kid has an IEP, parents are worrying, like, will my kids get lost in such a big school after being in an elementary school where they've kind of had one or two teachers, people get to know them for years? Will teachers understand my kids' learning needs like they did in the other school? Or maybe they didn't. What happens to their IEP? Will they feel socially comfortable? Who will they go to when they are in need of some help? Our kids need familiarity, they need predictability, and they need connection. And so I have created this document for you. It's a gift, and I'm going to put the link to it in the show notes. I'm going to put a link to it in the comments. But inside this is your grade 8 to grade 9 transition checklist. Hard copy, print it off, have it in front of you. Check, check, check. The things you knew you needed, the things you didn't even know you needed, and the things that you can ask for and continually ask for until you and your teen are comfortable with this transition. In the checklist, there is how to actually begin the transition planning. There is how to help your kid understand their IEP. It is so important that our kids at this stage of the game are super aware of their IEP, what it means, how it can help them, and their right to it. Nobody's doing them a favor by putting accommodations into place. And with them understanding and having really good familiarity with their IEP, it eliminates this unintentional shame of us hiding these things from our kids, thinking they're going to feel incompetent or unseen, or like it's a shame to have an IEP or something different. But if we give them the familiarity and we start right away and read it over and talk about it and even ask them, listen, this happened in grade 6, grade 7, grade 8. Did it help you? Did it not help you? What else could have helped you? And that way you get a really good idea of your kids' learning in school and how you can help them transitioning into grade 9. We also want to identify a safe person. So when your kid walks in the building, they know full well they have somebody there who's got their back. If they get lost, if they're missing an assignment, if they're having difficulty socially, can't find the cafeteria, eat lunch alone in the hallway, if they have a safe person to connect to right away, they always have somebody that's got their back. The check to get the timetable early if possible. You can ask the high school in August, when are the timetables going to be available? And when they are available, you, or better yet, their safe person in high school, can take them on the route from when they walk in the front door, where they go to their locker, practice their locker number, go to first class, second class, go to the cafeteria, go to the library, go to the gym, go to anywhere they might want to sign up for something but have no idea where. You also want to introduce yourself to teachers ahead of time and establish a form of communication that they're comfortable with. Maybe you would really appreciate a check-in, a quick email every Friday afternoon, just, hey, everything went well, or this is where we struggled this week. Can you work on it on the weekend? And then there's no surprises. We also want to check the box of talking to our kids. What are you worried about? What are you excited about? What do you think I can help you? And you can even talk about stories when you went into high school. I mean, I remember being nervous. I remember being so worried about getting lost or not having somebody to eat with in the lunchroom or missing assignments or being late for class because I couldn't find my classroom. Talk about these things and make it real for them. Like you are a real person who had these fears, so you can relate. You can practice problem solving ahead of time. If this were to happen, how would you think you can handle it? Don't impose the solution. Collaborate with your kid and let them come up with the solutions. They may come up with one way better than yours. And if it's one that they've come up with, it means they're comfortable with it. It's the first thing that came to their mind. So encourage their solution. Once they get in there and it's first day of school, September 6th, and that's not where the conversation stops. That is where we keep having conversations with our kids and not close-ended conversations. We know how our kids respond. How was your day? Fine. What'd you do? Nothing. Can you launch into conversations, not like a drill sergeant, like on the drive to the mall or on the drive to a friend and the kids in the back seat or listening to music, staring ahead is when you're going to get your best responses. And that's when you can say, hey, how did it go today? And what happened? And what was really great about today? And is there something that came up that you were concerned about? Anything that caused you some stress? What kind of assignments did you get? Who's your favorite teacher? Did you make a friend? Where did you have lunch? You can have these conversations because sometimes the fine and the nothing is because you're not triggering something that's happened through the day. But if you're specific about your questions, they will be more specific about their answers. And continue to stay connected with the school. It's not over. It is going to be an ongoing relationship. You are part of the team. Let's always remember that your teen is now the star quarterback of the game and you're just coaching them along and they have a team. So requesting your transition meeting if you haven't had it already, please make sure your kid is at the meeting. Please make sure the IEP is available and it has relevant information for high school, and find out when it's going to transfer to high school. There is a high school system where our high schools receive our kids' OSR, the nice big file that's got everything in it. But sometimes there's a transition time, and it could be up to 30 days when the teachers don't actually see the file and have the IEP in their hands. And this is just a reality. So for the parents who are like, wow, you should have seen the IEP by now. You know what? Be proactive. Take it with you. Give it to your kid. Put it in his backpack so he has it. Give it to the safe person so they know what's available and they know that they can connect with your kids' teachers to make sure they have the IEP. Layer all the support ahead of time. It's so proactive. You can find out ahead of time what supports are available in school, including having a safe person, but what else is available for them when it comes to the relevancy of their IEP and the accommodations. And you can always ask for follow-up meetings. If you're not clear, you don't have clarity, you don't feel empowered, you don't feel like you have a voice, ask for more meetings. You can totally do that. So when it comes to this transition to high school, I understand what it might be like for parents who don't have a kid with an IEP, for parents who are like, woohoo, grade 9, see you later, cut the cord, I'm done, here you go. And similar for your kids who are looking at other kids who don't have IEPs, don't have the concerns, don't have the longer processing time for transitions and familiarity. So we want to be using our time now in order to layer on all those supports for them going into grade 9. Put the timetable on the fridge. Put a picture of the safe person on the fridge or in their room. So they always know this is my person and this is where I can find them. This is my IEP. This is what it looks like. This is my timetable. These are going to be all my classes and all my teachers' names. So they're looking at it ahead of time. It's not all this information coming September 6th. Boom, here you go. Figure it out. So let's alleviate some of the stress that our kids are feeling and maybe anticipate what some of those stresses are. In this checklist, I go into detail what you need to check off. And in every category of what you need to check off, I go deep into figuring out who you need to talk to and exactly the steps you need to take. So I am going to put a link to that in the show notes. I'll put a link to that in the comments. It's yours to have. I just want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel one less amount of stress that you might be feeling right now. You're just finishing March break. We know how fast April, May, and June is going to go. So you have these 3 months now to really go over and over and over the repetition, the familiarity for your kid, and establishing a connection for them in the high school. Even an idea for a connection doesn't have to be an educational assistant. It could be a teacher. It could be a guidance counselor. But you could inquire at the guidance in the guidance office. They usually have a list of senior students who are looking for community service hours. So if they're looking for community service hours, they're looking to give back. They're probably a leader in the school. And your kid now has a really cool grade 12 friend to help them out. And I think that would be really beneficial as opposed to walking around with your mom or dad in the halls with your timetable. So you can make an arrangement for that. And then they get community service hours and it's a win-win. There are maybe things in this list that you didn't even know you needed. And because of my years in high school teaching and then running the special education department and working with parents and working with teachers and knowing how the school system works, I kind of sit on the fence and I see everybody's yard. And so I would know where the limitations and restrictions are. I would know how to help implement some of these strategies. And so there's so much information on this checklist and I'm happy to give you. Everything is in the show notes. Again, thank you for listening to WTF. This is the series on Fridays that is uncut and unedited, as you can probably tell. But it's always my opportunity to jump in and share something that is really sitting close to my heart where I can empathize. Okay, we're hitting the end of March. Parents and kids might be starting to freak out a little bit. And so let me put a little bit of ease and calm and awareness into your life. And you've got 3 months now. So get in this checklist, put it on the fridge, start checking the boxes. And grade 9 can be so much better than anyone's anticipating. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your ears. Have a beautiful weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.